Previously on Game Gengo.
怪我はねえみてえだな。
気化した魔法が反応してるのかも。そうじゃないと困る。
Hello everyone and welcome to Game Gengo, the video series where we learn Japanese through video games. In this episode we're going to be going through Final Fantasy VII Remake, Episode 12. So we're going to be going through the section where we escape through the tunnel and see the destruction that has been caused by the bombing of the Mako reactor. So in this episode we're going to be covering 58 new words, and we're also changing things up. In order to make the video a little bit shorter and more accessible to everyone, I'm going to be cutting the grammar section out and releasing it at the same time as a separate video with even more examples from other video games. So please look forward to that new structure where we'll have a Final Fantasy VII episode and a grammar video, hopefully released around the same time. Great, so let's get into the video.
Set 完了。爆発！
おお、開いてる開いてる。
邪魔者は木っ端みじん。さあ、行こう。緊急事態発生。緊急事態発生。こちらは神羅カンパニー危機対策本部です。一番魔航路が何者かの攻撃を受け爆破されました。現在も断続的な爆発があり火災が発生しています。1番街および8番街は警戒区域に指定されました。この辺りは建物の倒壊の恐れがあり瓦礫やガラスが落下する危険があります。8番街に予想以上。
こりゃいくらなんでもやりすぎっすね。
今さら何
ああ、その通り。俺たちはこの先ももっともっと魔航路をぶっ壊す。星の命を救うためにな。
だよな。覚悟を決めて始めたことだ。まだ始まったばかりっす。
俺たちの活動は星を救う。そのために必要な犠牲は払う。ああ、星だけじゃねえ。お前らの悲鳴が聞こえるぜ。はっ、上等だ。全部俺が背負ってやる。不安、疑問、悩み事、それから報酬もまとめて俺に落っこせろ。
で、リーダーどうするよ。
計画通りだ。全力で逃げる。
セット完了。
Okay, so starting off the video, we have some very quick, short sentences. First, Jessie says, Seto kanryo. So seto, as we previously covered, means to set something, set a bomb. Kanryo means to complete, so to finish doing something. Seto kanryo means the setting has been complete. So in the English translation, they've said, she's good to go, talking about the bomb. And in the literal translation, it's set complete, which is kind of unnatural language, and so the translator has done a kind of more interesting way of saying the same thing. Next, she says bakuhatsu. So bakuhatsu means explosion. Now, in an English way, a kind of more natural way to say fire in the hole, you know, that kind of throwing a grenade down, saying that an explosion's about to happen, and that's what she's doing, but she's just literally saying, explosion! Bakuhatsu!
おお、開いてる開いてる。
邪魔者は木っ端みじん。さあ、行こう。
And so Jessie says, Jamamono wa koppa mijin. Sa, iko. So Jamamono means people that are in the way, or it could be here things that are in the way. So jama means to get in the way, jama suru. Don't get in the way, don't get in my way, jama suru na. Mono here is for person. This kanji means person. It could also be talking about things. She's really just saying those who get in the way. And so she's referring to the wall as something that got in her way. Jama mono wa koppa mijin. Now koppa mijin means to be smashed into a million atoms, alright? So just like completely and utterly destroyed. Koppa mijin. And so she says, those who get in my way are going to be destroyed into a million pieces. Sa, iko, let's go. Now in the English translation they said, let that be a lesson to anyone that gets in my way. So really the same thing. I totally get the same feeling from both the English and the Japanese, just saying it differently.
緊急事態発生。緊急事態発生。こちらは死んだカンパニー危機対策本部です。
Okay, so we've seen the outside and things are not looking too pretty, so it seems the explosion was much more than had been anticipated. So the voice on the speakerphone is saying, this is a state of emergency. This is Shinra Company Crisis Task Force. So Kinkyu Jitai means a state of emergency. Kinkyu is emergency and Jitai means the state of, so a state of emergency, a state of crisis. And then we have Hasse. Now Hasse, that means an outbreak or something occurring. So they're saying that the state of emergency is occurring, right? Kinkyu Jitai Hasse. And then they repeat it one more time, say, this is an emergency, this is an emergency. Then it says, こちらは Shinra Company Kiki Taisaku Honbu desu. So, こちらは means here, this voice that's speaking. Shinra Company, so the Shinra Company, Kiki Taisaku Honbu. So, Kiki means a crisis, Taisaku means a countermeasure, and Honbu is a headquarters. So if you put it all together, it's kind of a crisis, anti-crisis measure headquarters, or you could have a crisis task force, or in the English translation, an emergency operations center. It's got kind of all the same meaning. Kiki is emergency, Taisaku is countermeasure, Honbu is headquarters. So this is a state of emergency or mayday. This is the Shinra Company Crisis Task Force. Now in the English translation they said, attention all citizens, attention all citizens. This is an alert from the Shinra Emergency Operations Center. So similar, attention all citizens instead of this is a state of emergency. Yeah, okay, it's a little bit more English to say that, attention everyone, to get their attention. Just quickly, so some of this language is really useful, especially what's going on right now in the world. Things like Kinkyu Jitai, you'll see often in the news as the state of emergency, and Hasse means an outbreak or something, as what's going on right now in the news. So a lot of this language is actually really useful. Actually, most of this, Kiki, Taisaku, and Honbu, it's all really useful language.
一番魔航路が何者かの攻撃を受け爆破されました。
Mako Reactor number 1 has received some attacks by someone and has been destroyed. So Ichiban Makoro. So Ichiban here is, remember, the old way of saying Ichi. This is not the normal way of saying one, but it's another way, an older way of saying Ichi. Ichiban number 1 Makoro, the Mako Reactor, ga nanimono ka. So again, we see that mono, which means a person, but this time it's nani mono, which means what person. But there's a ka at the end, making it a question, so it means some person. Instead of what person, it's some person, so someone. Nani mono ka, someone, no kogeki or uke. So kogeki is an attack. If you play the game and you have your menu and you choose attack, that is kogeki. Or uke is actually short for ukeru because it's continuing a sentence, so it means to receive something, uke. So to receive an attack, kogeki or ukeru, kogeki or uke. And then bakuha means to blow up, right? Baku, explosion, and ha is kind of a wave. And so it's saying that the Mako reactor has been exploded, it's been blown up. So bakuha saremashita. The sare is the passive, saying that it has been. So we use this in reporting speech to say that something has happened. Bakuha saremashita. So the literal translation, the Mako reactor number 1 has received attacks by someone and has been blown up. However, in the English translation they've said unidentified intruders have detonated a bomb inside Mako reactor number 1. So similar thing, just changing some of the words, unidentified as a different word, but it's saying the same meaning.
現在も断続的な爆発があり、火災が発生しています。
Next, the speakerphone says intermittent explosions and fires are also currently occurring. So here we see some more of that similar language that we saw previously used. So genzai mo means also, right now, danzoku teki na, which means intermittent something. So that means it's happening and then stopping, and then happening again and then stopping. So danzoku teki, happening and stopping, na bakuhatsu ga ari. So there are explosions. Bakuhatsu, explosion, and ari for aru, to exist. But because she's speaking in a reporting way of speaking, she doesn't say aru. She says ari because there's more of the sentence left to come. This is very common, you might see in the news, where you see the ru turn into more of a ri, or as you saw before, ukeru just turn into uke. So it's very common in reported speech, especially for things like the news or here a state of emergency or things like that. And then next we have kasai ga hassei shite imasu. Now kasai means a fire, so you can see there in the background an explosion is happening and some of the buildings seem to be on fire. There's this kind of orange glow, kasai, so the fire. And then we see hassei again, so this means occurring or kind of a spread or something. So fires are occurring. Kasai ga hassei shite imasu. And then shiteiru means continuously doing, so it's currently continuously outbreaking more fires. And in the English translation, they say multiple explosions have been confirmed, as well as ongoing fires. So same thing really, they're just saying it in a different way, which is really common, just making it a little bit more natural.
1番街および8番街は警戒区域に指定されました。
And it continues saying Sector 1 and Sector 8 have been designated as a hazard area. So Ichiban Gai, so if you remember we had machi if it's by itself and gai if it's at the end of a sentence, meaning the kind of district or the zone. Ichiban Gai, Sector 1, Oyobi, Hachiban Gai. So oyobi means as well as. Now this language is usually seen again in reporting in the news. You might not use this in a kind of conversation, you might use a different way. For example, you could say to or ya to say and, but this is a very formal way of saying and or as well as. So ichiban gai oyobi hachiban gai. So Sector 1 and Sector 8 wa keikai kuiki ni shite saremashita. So keikai kuiki, if we kind of unravel it, so keikai means caution or alertness or being on guard. Keikai, kind of be cautious. And then kuiki here, this means the kind of boundary, the zone, the limits, the territory. So they're saying that it's an area in which you should be keikai. Keikai kuiki means an area that's a hazard zone. Normal way of saying that in English. So keikai kuiki ni shite saremashita. So shite means to be designated or appointed as something, and then saremashita, again you see that passive language. It means that it has happened. Very common in this reported speech, where you have a reporter, like a news channel, saying something. This language is very, very common. So we can see here that just by looking at the language, it's very formal and that it's actually a reporting like a news. Now in the English translation they've said, in response, a disaster warning has been issued in sectors 1 and 8. Now, they don't say in response in the Japanese, but it's a natural way of saying it, right? You're saying this has happened, and so this has happened. So because of the explosions, a hazard area has been designated. Keikai kuiki, the hazard area, ni shite saremashita, to be designated as something.
この辺りは建物の倒壊の恐れがあり、瓦礫やガラスが落下する危険があります。
In this area, buildings are in danger of collapsing. There is also a danger of rubble and glass falling from above. So this is a big one. Let's just have a look at the first sentence. Kono atari wa, which means this vicinity, this area. So as for this area, kono atari wa, tatemono no toukai no osore ga ari. Tatemono means the buildings, tatemono. Toukai means to collapse. So they're saying tatemono no toukai, collapsing of the buildings, no osore. So the fear of collapsing buildings, tatemono no toukai no osore ga ari, which means there is to exist, a fear of buildings collapsing. And on the next line we have gareki ya garasu ga rakka suru kiken ga arimasu. So let's have a look. Gareki means kind of debris or wreckage. So it exploded and there's wreckage, gareki. Gareki ya. Now this ya, as I actually mentioned earlier, means and. But ya means that it's not just this and this. That would be to. Gareki to garasu means just debris and glass. But this ya is showing that there may be other things as well. It's just listing these two. So gareki ya garasu means things like rubble and glass. Ga rakka suru. Rakka means to fall, sort of fall down, so maybe from the windows. Rakka suru. Kiken ga arimasu. Kiken means danger. Okay, so kiken, that's dangerous, right? Kiken ga arimasu means there is a danger. So there is a danger that things like rubble and glass may fall from above. Gareki ya garasu ga rakka suru kiken ga arimasu. Now in the game translation they've said structures in the area are at a high risk of collapse, rendering the entire sector hazardous. That's very, very, very different from the game. However, they're just trying to say the same thing. In this area, buildings are in danger of collapsing. There's also a danger of rubble. Yeah, it's kind of boring. The English translation is actually pretty good. It's not literal, but it's pretty good. Okay, so back to the main characters. So here we have Jessie reacting to the explosion, and she says, yoso ijo. So yoso means an expectation or an anticipation. So what she was anticipating. Ijo means more than. So she's saying, this is more than I expected. So yoso ijo, more than expected. And in the English translation, she just says, no way. So yeah, it's kind of the similar thing. More than expected. This is surprising. No way. This is surprising. Kind of the same thing. And now we see Biggs' reaction, and he's also quite surprised. He says, Korea ikura nandemo, which means this, no matter how you look at it. So it's showing that he's quite surprised. In the English translation, he says, this couldn't have been us, could it? So again, showing that surprise. So if we look at the language, Korea means kore wa, but it's just the colloquial slang way of saying kore wa. So this is, or as for this, ikura nandemo. Now this is actually a phrase, so we don't need to take it apart. It's actually a set phrase, and here it means no matter how you put it, or whatever the circumstances may be, or I've chosen no matter how you look at it. So no matter how you look at it, this is, and it's probably going to be something negative. So quite a useful expression to use, ikura nandemo. Now if we just have a very quick look at the actual breakdown of this phrase, ikura means how much, and then nandemo means no matter, right? So no matter how much. So no matter how much, no matter how you put it, no matter how you look at it, no matter how much. So you can see the connection with ikura for how much and nandemo, so how, no matter how much. So no matter how much, no matter how you look at it, no matter how you put it, right? Very similar, you can see where that comes from. Now it's Wedge's turn to give his reaction, and he says, yarisugi desu ne. And so yarisugiru just means to do too much. Yaru, to do, then you put it in the yari. Sugiru means too much, so yarisugiru, to do too much. You can say this with lots of other things. Tabe sugiru, to eat too much. So this is just saying, this is too much. We've done too much. Talking about the explosion. Snare, the casual, polite way of saying desu ne. Very typical of Wedge, so you can tell. And so here, he's actually continuing on from what Biggs says. Biggs says, no matter how you look at it, and then he has finished his sentence for him saying, we've gone too far. And so here, it's saying, we've gone too far, huh? And then in the English translation, it says, but what if it was? So questioning whether it was himself. So kind of similar. Here you have the English translation saying, this couldn't have been us, could it? And then him saying, but what if it was? So he's continuing on the sentence from Biggs, and in the Japanese version, no matter how you look at it, it's going too far, huh? So this is really useful language, yarisugi, yarisugiru. So if you have a friend who's just doing too much, you can say, yarisugi desu ne. You're kind of overdoing it. Come on, settle down.
Imasara nani o?
And now it's Cloud's turn to give his reaction, and he says, Imasara nani o? So after all this, what are you saying? Now, Imasara means now, ima, but sara shows that something has happened a long time. So after all this time, Imasara, nani o? And so what he's actually saying, nani means what and o, right? But what's missing? Maybe it might be iu, or maybe it might be or more. But he's just cut that off. So he's not saying what are you saying or what are you thinking, he's just saying nani o. So it's implied, it's understood that he's saying like, what are you talking about? Like after all this time, right? But he's not actually saying talking, he's just cut that bit off. Imasara, after all this time, nani o? What are you saying? And then in the actual game translation, he says, what's done is done. Now again, this translator has done a really good job of using different expressions to say the same thing from the literal meaning. So if I, for example, were to translate this game in the literal sense, I don't think it would be quite as artistically well written as this. The translator's done a really good job of using other phrases to mean the same thing.
ああ、その通り。
Barrett has finally agreed with Cloud. So he says, sono tori. So yeah, exactly as you said. So he's saying that he agrees with Cloud. Yes, sono tori, exactly as that. So the literal translation, yeah, exactly. And then in the game translation, Merc's right. So yeah, it is kind of a moment for both of these two characters where they're finally agreeing on something. In the English, they've made it a little bit more rude just by putting that merc there, kind of putting him down as nothing but a merc. In the Japanese, they don't do that, but it's the same kind of thing.
俺たちはこの先ももっともっと魔航路をぶっ壊す。
Okay, so Barrett's now trying to get that strength for the group, and he says, we're going to be destroying a lot more Mako reactors from here on. So, oretachi wa, as for us, we are konosaki mo. So that means from this point onwards, konosaki mo, as well as this point, from this point onwards, moto moto. So moto means more, and moto moto means more and more. So even more, makoro o bukkoasu. So here, makoro, the Mako reactor, o bukkoasu means to just destroy. Now you might often see this bu before a word to mean to do something strongly, used to emphasize the following verb. So he's saying to absolutely destroy, bukkoasu. Now in the game translation he says, it ain't pretty, we can't stop now, this is just the first reactor.
星の命を救うためにな。
In order to save the life of the planet. 星の命を救うためにな. So 星の命, the life of the planet, as we've covered previously, o Suku. Now here is a new one, suku. Now this means to rescue from or to help or to save. So save the life of the planet. Hoshi no inochi o suku tame ni. Tame ni is new, and this means for the sake of. This is a really useful word. I use this on a daily basis. Sono tame ni or benkyou suru tame ni or whatever. It's really useful, this word, to say for the sake of something. So for the reason of doing something, as a result, in favor of, on behalf of, it's a really useful expression. So he's saying, in order to save the life of the planet, nah. I'm saying, right. So this is all to save the life of the planet, guys. Now in the English translation they say, and the planet won't be safe till we get the rest. So saying that we need to blow up the rest of the Mako reactors. So this is where they've deviated a little bit. They've kind of, here they're showing Barrett's intention to want to blow up more reactors. In the Japanese, he just says that we need to do this to save the planet.
だよな。覚悟を決めて始めたことだ。
Okay, and so here we can see Charlie Sheen, and he says, だよな、覚悟を決めて始まったことだ. And so, だよな or だよね means I know, right? So, だ means to be, yo means an emphasis, so it is, and then with emphasis, and then na or ne is kind of trying to get confirmation. So, that's how it is, right? I know, right? だよね, だよな. And then we have 覚悟を決めて. So, 覚悟 means kind of a resolve within yourself, that you've prepared yourself for something. 覚悟を決める means to decide upon that resolve. So you've strengthened that resolve, you've decided that resolve. 覚悟を決めて始まったことだ. So 始まったことだ means it's something that we started with the resolve within us to go through this. So in the English translation they've said, yeah, we always knew this was going to get messy. in the literal translation, he says, yeah, that's true. We started this having prepared ourselves already. We already decided to go this far. So, same kind of thing, really. Now, kakugo is quite useful to say that you're ready for something. Maybe you might know Street Fighter. When Chun-Li starts a fight with someone, she says, kakugo wa ii? She says, are you ready? So kind of that preparedness to go through something. It's kind of some sort of difficulty and that you're prepared. Kakugo.
まだ始まったばかりっす。
And then wrapping up this talk saying that, yeah, it's only just begun. Mada means still, hajimata has begun, bakari. So this bakari is very useful. So here it's being used at the end of a past form verb, hajimata bakari, which means it's only just whatever the verb is. So hajimata, begun. Hajimata bakari, it's only just begun. So in the game translation it said, and this is only the beginning, which means the same thing as it's only just begun. And so really the translation is exactly the same. And so as you can see, I've included a lot of different meanings for bakari. Now this is because this is a really useful word, and it's kind of important to be aware of how differently it can be used. However, here you're just wanting to focus on number 3, which is just finished, just started. So hajimata bakari, just started.
俺たちの活動は星を救う。そのために必要な犠牲は払う。
And now begins Barrett's speech, and he says, our actions are saving the planet. In order to do that, there are necessary sacrifices to be made. So, 俺たちの活動, so our actions or our activities は星を救う, so to save the planet. そのために, for that reason or for that sake, 必要な犠牲は払う. So hitsuyo means necessary. When something is needed, when you have to do something, that means hitsuyo. It's na, so it's being an adjective for the word hitsuyo na, so necessary sacrifices, gisei. So necessary sacrifices wa harau. So gisei wa harau means to pay the sacrifice, to make the sacrifice. Now, if you've played the original game, you may know this has some foreshadowing, some events, so that's really interesting how they've used this language, saying that sacrifices have to be made, and they may very well be made in the future. Now, in English translation, he says, y'all gotta look at the bigger picture here. Nothing worth fighting for was ever won without sacrifice. So, yeah, that's pretty good. They've really added that kind of country style speaking here with Barrett with y'all and everyone without sacrifice. You can kind of picture Barrett talking already. My voice already automatically does it, and so that's what he's saying. So it's a little bit different. The language use is very different, and so here it really shows how it's very difficult to learn Japanese with just English subtitles, because while the meaning might be similar, the actual words are completely different, and so you can't learn what the English subtitles means actually is what the Japanese means. And so it's really just for understanding rather than language acquisition, which is what this kind of analysis is really useful for.
星だけじゃねえ。お前らの悲鳴が聞こえるぜ。
Okay, now we finally have another sentence where you should know all of this language as we've previously covered in videos. So if you're not too sure, please check the other episodes to make sure that you know this language. Means yes, hoshi dake ja ne, not just the planet. Omaera no hime, your screams ga kikoeru. I can hear. Ze, the manly ending. So you could put this into a sentence literally as saying, yeah, it's not just the planet, I can hear your screams as well. This is really interesting because in the game translation he says, though you may not be crying out, I know you're in pain, just like the planet. So that's really interesting. In the English version he's saying that he can't hear your screams, but he knows that you are in pain. But in the Japanese version he says that he can hear your screams just the same as the screams of the planet.
Ha! 上等だ!
And so he says, ha! Alright, bring it on. So ha is very similar to the way that it's used in English. Say ha! Alright, bring it on. 上等だ. So 上等 means bring it on. Now that's the second meaning. Now it could also mean first class or superior something. However, that's not the meaning that we're using here. It just means that's fine, bring it on. So it's quite common that you'll see this language, especially with anime characters and in video games, saying that, huh, that's no problem, bring it on, right? Normally, you may not use this language in real life, but it is very common in games and video games to say, bring it on, choto da. Now, in the English translation, they don't say this exact thing, but they are showing the implications of bring it on. They're saying, it's okay because I'm here for you. Now, bring it on shows that he's ready to take it on. I'm here for you also shows that he's ready to take it on. So you can see that this translator's style is really to avoid using literal translations almost always, and instead try and find a different way of saying it in a different use of language. Okay, now my favorite part of this scene is now starting to begin. So he says, Zenbu ore ga seotteru. So I will take responsibility of all of it myself. I will put it all on my back. And so here we have Zenbu, just means Zenbu, everything. Orega, me, se o. So se is your back, and o means to kind of carry something. Se o is to put on your back, which is kind of a way of saying that you'll take some responsibility for something. You'll take it as your job, right? So if you can imagine the responsibility, he's putting it on his back and he's carrying it. Right? So he's saying that he will carry this burden, he will take this responsibility. Zenbu seotte yaru. So this yaru is showing an emphasis that he will do it. He's going to carry it all on his back. Now in the English translation he says, to help take the load off your shoulders.
Fuan, Gimon, Nayamigoto.
And now begins Barrett's very epic speech, and he says, Fuan, Gimon, Nayamigoto. So Fuan means a kind of uneasiness, an anxiety or fear. Gimon means your doubts, so to question something, Gimon. And then Nayami Goto means the things you're worried about. Nayami is to worry, Koto means things. Put it together, Nayami Goto. So he's saying your anxiety, your doubts, the things causing you worry. Now, very similar to the English translation, your fears, your worries, your concerns.
それから報酬も。
それから報酬も. So, and then or and also, 報酬, remuneration, to be compensated for something as well, mo. So he's saying, and yes, even your remuneration, or in the English translation he says, and yes, your fees.
まとめて俺に追っかぶせろ。
You can put it all on me. Your fears, your worries, your money problems, everything. Put it on my shoulders. So, matomete means to kind of put together, right? To put it all together. Matomeru, matomete. Ore ni, so on me. Okabuseru. So, okabuseru means to put something on top of something else. So he's saying, put all those worries, all your fears, just put it on my back. I'm gonna go through and fight with it all on me. Now in the English translation they say, whatever your problem, I gotcha. So yeah, okay, it's showing that no matter what you're worried about, he will take care of it. So he's showing that he is a leader for the group. Now I actually really like this scene because it's showing more of Barrett's leadership personality. In the original game, he only really remains a leader for a very short period of time before Cloud takes over. And so this is nice to see more of that leadership and that he's saying that, you know what, I'm going to take care of all you guys. I really like that.
で、リーダー、どうするよ?
And so almost like exactly responding to that, here you now have Biggs calling Barrett a leader. So I really like this scene. It's showing that he's a leader and that they accept him as their leader. And so Biggs says, de, so, leader, どうするよ? What are we gonna do? So leader, what do we do? Or in the game translation, so what's our next move, boss?
計画通りだ。
And very short and simple, he says, 計画通り, to go as planned. 計画, the plan, and dori, to go as. So we've seen this dori used so much. Hopefully you're really familiar with it now. 計画dori, 作戦通り, lots of other ways. So a very common way of saying to go as something. So this is a set phrase, 計画通り, to go as planned. Now, in the English translation, he just says, that's easy enough. Though in the English translation, he's being a little bit more ambiguous. He doesn't quite say what's going to happen. But in the Japanese, he says exactly, we're gonna go as planned.
全力で逃げる。
Going to escape with all of our power. So, 全力で逃げる. 全力, all of your strength, all of your might. 逃げる, to run. So we saw 逃げる previously, but not the full word. We saw it in 逃げ道. So escape path or escape route. Here is the actual verb 逃げる, which means to run or escape. So he's saying, we're gonna run away or we're gonna escape with all of our might. Now in the English translation, they kind of add in a little bit of swearing. There was more swearing in the English version of the original. So he says, we get our asses home. So adding that kind of Barrett, strong, sweary personality, kind of a little bit aggressive personality. So as I said before, to make these episodes a little bit more accessible for everyone, I'm going to be taking out the grammar and putting it into a separate video that should be released around the same time. And in that video, we're going to be looking at the ta bakari from this episode. So if you would like some more practice, some more examples, or if you'd like to know some more information about that, please check out that video. So let's get on to the review. Kanryo, completion. Kanryo, jama mono, a nuisance or a hindrance. Jama mono, koppa mijin, so to be broken to smithereens, smashed into a million atoms. Koppa mijin. Kinkyu jitai, the state of emergency. Kinkyu jitai. Hassei, so an outbreak or an occurrence. Hassei. Kiki, so the crisis or an emergency. Kiki. Taisaku, so the countermeasure. Taisaku. Honbu, the headquarters. Honbu. Nanimono ka, so someone. Nanimono ka. Kogeki, so the attack. Kogeki. Ukeru, so to receive, to take, so to take the damage, take the attack. Ukeru. Danzoku teki, so intermittent, so to have something happen and then stop, happen and then stop. Danzoku teki. Kasai, so here it's the fires. Kasai. Oyobi, the kind of formal reporting way of saying and or as well. Oyobi. Keikaku kuiki. Keikaku kuiki, so here is the hazard area. Keikaku kuiki. Shite, so the verb to designate something as something. Shite suru. Atari, so the vicinity or the area. Atari. Tatemono, so the buildings. Tatemono. Tokai, so the buildings collapsing. Tatemono no tokai. Osore, so the fear of something. Osore. Gareki, so here the rubble or the debris. Gareki. Ya, so listing things that isn't comprehensive. You have more than just what you've listed. Ya. Garasu, so glass. Garasu, glass. Rakka, so to fall down. Rakka suru. Kiken, it's dangerous. Kiken. Yoso, so yoso is the expectation. Yoso ijo, more than, so more than expected. Yoso ijo. Ikura nandemo, no matter how you put it, no matter how you say it, no matter how you look at it. Ikura nandemo. Yarisugi, so to do too much, to go overboard. Yarisugi. Ima sara, so now after all this time. Ima sara. Nani? What? Nani? Ah, so a very kind of crude way of saying yeah. Ah. Sono tori, so just that way, just like that. Sono tori. Kono saki, so from here on. Kono saki. Motto, so more. Motto. Bukkowasu, so to just destroy something. Bukkowasu. Sku, so to save something. Sku. Tameni, so for the sake of something. Sono tameni, for that sake. Tameni. Dayona, I know, right? Dayona. Kakugo o kimeru, to decide or resolve. Kakugo o kimeru, so kakugo is the resolve and kimeru is decide. Bakari, so here we saw the grammar as ta bakari, which means just done something. Hajimatta bakari, we just begun. Hitsuyo, so hitsuyo is necessary, what's needed. Hitsuyo. Gisei, so the sacrifices. Hitsuyo na gisei, the necessary sacrifices. Joto, so that's fine, bring it on. It's a very kind of anime way of saying that. Joto da. Seou, seou, so that means to carry something on your back, usually kind of responsibility or a burden, to kind of be burdened with something. Seou. Fuan, so anxiety or uneasiness. Fuan. Gimon, so a doubt or a question. Gimon. Nayami goto, so the things you're concerned about. Nayami goto. Sore kara, so and then or after that, or here he's saying and yes. Sore kara. Houshu, so here remuneration or reward. Houshu. Matomete, so all together. Matomeru, matomete. okabuseru. So okabuseru means to put something on top of another thing. So this o for place, and then kabuseru means to put on, so to place on top. Okabuseru. De, so, de. Leader, leader, leader. Keikaku dori, to go as planned. Keikaku dori. Nigeru, to run or escape. Nigeru.
緊急事態発生。こちらはシンダカンパニー危機対策本部です。一番魔航路が何者かの攻撃を受け爆破されました。1番街および8番街は警戒地域に指定されました。
予想以上。
星の命を救うためにな。
だよな。覚悟を決めて始めたことだ。
そのために必要な犠牲は払う。全部俺が背負ってやる。それから報酬も。
Yay, congratulations, you have now learnt 58 new words and finished episode 12 of Game Gengo. So thank you very much for watching. This episode we did do things a little bit different with the grammar section, so please let me know how you feel about that, doing it as a separate video. I think that might be a little bit more accessible for everyone, and also please look forward to new episodes covering different games very soon. That's what I'm working on next, so please look forward to that. Thank you very much for all your support. In particular, thank you so much to the supporters on Patreon. The community is growing more and more and more and more, and the Discord channel is getting more and more lively, everyone talking about Japanese advice and practicing the Japanese. So thank you very much for your support on Patreon. Thank you very much for enjoying the video, and I shall see you again next time. See ya.